Welcome to CivilNet. Today is going to be Sերժ Թանգյան Day at CivilNet for sure, and maybe in all of Armenia. Sերž, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me on, Selfie. Good to see you.
Thank you. This is a special opportunity because it's the first and second anniversary of your Armenia trips and concerts. And of course, everybody wishes you were here this year too.
Thank you, so do I.
But of course, we understand you're not because you've got your hands full. Harakiri has taken off, and it's the talk of not just the musical world, but I think also of people like me who go through music through other issues like, social and political issues, and that's certainly what you've done with this album.
Right. Definitely the message is a big part of this record, as it has been in the past, but I think more so this time.
Let's talk a little bit about both Harakiri and also both your use of that word, your use of the term Holocaust, and all of the things that all of that evokes through music that is, both very Sérge and also very melancholic in some ways. I guess appropriate to the topic, huh?
Definitely. Well, Harakiri, the title track I wrote in early 2011 in New Zealand while we were experiencing the massive deaths of bird and fish around the planet. And for me, it was such an ominous, kind of almost biblical type of event that I needed to write music to express myself as a way of coming to grips with it, understanding it psychologically, spiritually. And so that's how the title track was born. And the rest of the songs kind of quickly filtered in thereafter. The muse was kind of forcing itself on me, is what I've been saying. And a lot of the tracks came during a very, very busy year in 2011 that I had. And so it's kind of interesting because I wanted to use the term harakiri, which means ritualistic suicide in Japanese, also known as seppuku, literally meaning cutting of the belly, that the samurais used to do that were dishonored, etc. I wanted to not just to describe a lot of the environmental degradation that we're experiencing around the planet, but also as a symbolism for what humanity is doing to the planet. We're unconsciously killing ourselves.
Harakiri, like you said, suicide, that is, you're putting the responsibility back on me, on you, on all of us, rather than on them that are doing this to us.
That's a good point. I didn't think of it exactly that way, but that's a really good point, that it is our responsibility. We are having a dramatic effect due to our overpopulation and waste, pollution, and utilization of natural resources. As we're helping kill our own home, and but no one sees it that way because our lifestyle is too important for us, and we're continuing the same path unconsciously, irregardless.
You also, in one of the songs, use the term Holocaust. How do you use the term? Are you talking about general human tragedy, the Holocaust with a small h, or Holocaust with a capital H?
That's a good question. I wanted it to be certainly open to interpretation as to what it was about, but it definitely has very kind of strict adherence to the Israeli-Palestinian issue, because it talks about the Holocaust sentence is, Holocaust, you've tasted great fear. How could you just occupy another child's tear? The word occupy being in there. It's the basically hypocrisy of someone who suffered, a victim, to victimize someone else in a different way. The song also talks about a two-state solution, the necessity for it. The middle eight part is a gorgeous little jazz part that deals with a woman and a child, a woman putting a child to bed, no longer in fear of bombs coming overhead, talking about a lot of the areas in Israel that get bombed from, Hamas rockets, etc. But it also deals with the occupation, the hypocrisy of the occupation, the continuing occupation, and etc. But I've seen other people apply it to different things, from the Occupy movement to talking about the Armenian genocide, to many, many different things. And one good thing about music is that if presented the right way, other impressions can be created that are as important.
The music, I'm the last person in the world to talk about music, but the music has a combination of urgency and like I said, melancholy, like self-searching, which, for me is extremely accessible, and it really does force me to think about the lyrics.
Definitely. I think the melancholy's always been there in my music. I couldn't write a happy song if my life depended on it at this point.
Hi, SL. You know what I mean?
You know, Salpi, I say that all the time when people say, how has your culture or your music, how has your culture affected your music? And if I think about it deeply, besides certain melodic overtones and whatnot, I really think that the moodiness of it, the melancholy of it, comes from our cultural stance.
600 pounds on our shoulders the minute we're born. The Occupy term, the Occupy Tears song, which Eric Nazarian animated. By the way, both parts of that clip as well as parts of the title clip are being shown here behind us. The Occupied Tears and the homage you pay to the whole Occupy idea in the positive sort of way comes through in these songs.
I guess so. Thank you. The videos have been great to portray some of these emotions. The Haraki video, the title track, is really moving, I think, and deals with so many things. It's not a one issue type of statement. It deals with, oil. It deals with consumption. It deals with pollution. It deals with massive deaths.
The final revolution will illuminate silence, release us to the utopians. Let go, in dire need of reason, in a truly nation, in dire need of...
So many things that affect our life today. The Occupy movement, wars, and that's kind of the headspace that this record was written in. It was written last year. So a lot of it comes from really modern times, a lot of the upheaval happening in the world, the Arab Spring, Euro crisis, financial, unemployment rates high, a very segregated US society. All of these play into the record in a very real way.
Well, it's also been a difficult couple of years, maybe a couple of decades here in Armenia, and I know you know about all of that. When we announced on Facebook that we'd be talking to you, we got a bunch of questions, and I think the questions won't surprise you. I'm going to ask some of our staff members to read some of them, and in many ways it's just going to be a continuation of the conversation we've already been having.
Right, okay, that sounds good.
Ողջույն Սերժ, շնորհակալ եմ CivilNet-ին միանալու համար։ Ահա այն հարցերը, որոնք ուղղել են ձեզ Facebook-յան էջի մեր օգտատերերը։ Դեռ 2007-ին դուք բավականին մտահոգ էիք Հայաստանի բնապահպանական խնդիրներով եւ ձեր աջակցությունն էիք արտահայտում փրկել Թեղուտի անտառը քաղաքացիական բնապահպանական շարժմանը։ Արդյոք չեք պատրաստվում որևէ կերպ ելույթով, գործողություններով հանդես գալ, քանզի խնդիրն ավելի քան արդի է դարձել վերջին ժամանակներում եւ համահայկական մասշտաբով բարձրաձայնման կարիք կա։
I am. We've actually been working on putting together a statement for Tehut Forest in support of the Defense Fund and their activities. And I think it's a very important issue, along with, all environmental issues within the country and throughout the world. I think a fair balance of industry and climatology has to be maintained within a country, within a developing or a developed country. It's a very tough issue, but in the end, there's only one truth, and the truth is that a lot of the mining excess and the pollution is going to destroy the water system of that whole area, going all the way to Georgia, and it's a very dangerous thing. In the U.S., a lot of the fight with Republicans and Democrats are based on a similar issue of industry against the environment. We need jobs right now, like a lot of the right-wing people are like, we need jobs right now, that's the important thing. A killer is a job too, someone who kills things, that could be a job, and that's not the right type of job. We need jobs that are sustaining to the environment, sustaining to the long-term growth of the people, the economy, but the environment as well, because without the environment, no matter how many jobs you have, even if everyone is working, without a very sustainable, healthy ecology around you, you're going to die. It makes no sense in the end. I think, by trying to target ecologically, trying to target farming, and trying to improve the farming condition in Armenia, we would be doing our country, our ecology, and our migration issues a service. People would come back. If farmers are able to make a good living, the solution to our civilized problems are not by running into the major cities. The solution to our civilized problems is by growing food, and genetically non-modified food, I should say, because I'm afraid of the spread of GMO crops in Armenia. Years ago, coming to Armenia and having an apple, it was the best experience in the world. And last year I bit an apple and it tasted like it was from Los Angeles, and that really scared me. So I think we should definitely make sure we eradicate GMO crops and support farming in every aspect, from government-sponsored programs and stimulus programs to help spur more farming to private endeavors.
Եվ վերջին հարցը, ժամանակ գտնում եք կարդալ հայկական մամուլը եւ դրանով իսկ տեղեկանալ երկրի ներքին անցուդարձին։
Wow, that is a very wide question because there's a lot going on in Armenia, so I won't tackle it that way. But I try to stay as much in tune with news in Armenia and events in Armenia as possible. I do miss a lot. Sometimes I get it a little after, but I try to stay up on it and read as much as I can so that I'm, connected to what's going on there.
I think that you won't find an Armenian in Armenia who disagrees with you, and I think most Armenians would. We tie so much of our identity to the land and the mountains and the rivers and the trees, and it's something that we collectively are going to have to impress upon our government, that really supporting agriculture is key to our country's sustainability and security.
The most key, yeah.
Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you for making that point, and we will certainly do what we can to pass that on. I have said before, and I'm going to say it again, I think that when you put your celebrity on the line and are willing to talk about these difficult issues, it gives a lot of hope and empowers the youth, the activists here. So thank you for many things, including that one.
Thanks, Selby.
Thank you, Serge Tangyan. Thank you for the work you do, for the statements you make, for the music you make, and for making yourself available to us here in Armenia and to so many others about the causes that we all not just believe in, but need to be doing something about. Thank you.
Merci, John. Long live Civilitas.
Thank you, Serge.